On several occasions over the last several years, the Minister for Planning would call me into meetings at which other ministers would have been present and instruct me to call a meeting of the board to deal with one development or another. In at least one such case, the relevant developer was present at the meeting with the minister. I always felt uneasy with the aforementioned action by ministers, and in later consulting the physical planning ordinance, I have now come to realize that such actions are contrary to law.
Earl Hanfield stated in a press conference earlier today that the Minister of Planning's decision to overrule the Planning's Board verdict to revoke the Salt Key Dock development project on January 9th was not only unlawful but the last straw. Hanfield stated that his uneasy feelings about the conduct of business at the Planning Board boiled down when he was informed by other board members that the minister was putting together a quorum and was in the process of overriding the board's decision.
I was informed that the Premier and the Minister of Planning purported to have called a meeting of the Physical Planning Board. Prior to this meeting, it appears that on Thursday, 8 January 2009, the Minister of Planning contacted members of the board seeking their attendance at the meeting to be held the following day. The meeting was called for the purpose of instructing the board to retract its decision to refuse permission for the construction of a dock in the Salt Key development and to approve the said application.
The chairman said he did not show up at the quorum, which needs at least 5 board members when making pivotal decisions. The chairman of 5 years said he informed the governor of his resignation on January 12th, stating his dissatisfaction in the decisions taken by Minister of Planning, the Honorable McAllister Hanschel. Hanfield stated that he officially dropped the bombshell of his resignation this morning at the first Planning Board meeting for 2009. He said he no longer accepted the conditions under which certain decisions were made at the department.
I must state here that the decision the board made in December was arrived at by carefully considering the facts and opinions presented to the board by the various officials concerned with such applications. Let me make it very clear. The meeting held on Friday, 9 January 2009 was entirely unlawful. Once an application is refused by the board, the applicant has the right to appeal to the Minister of Planning. The minister could then override or overturn the board's decision and approve the application.
Joined by his attorney, Wendell Swan of Swan, Townbridge, and McKnight, Hanfield declined to elaborate on the reasons for the withdrawal of the Salt Key Dock development application, which is also a part of the Salt Key development project, which consists of a resort, spa, and golf course. That project brought much contention between residents of Salt Key who stood in solidarity to stop the developers from construction on the island.
The law makes no provision for the board to reconsider a decision. It makes no provision for ministers to demand a meeting of the board. It makes no provision for any person but the chairman, other than on the direction of the governor, to convene a meeting unless the chairman is away from the islands or otherwise incapable of convening it.
Hanfield stated that for years, Minister of Planning Honorable McAllister Hanchel has allegedly intervened in the Planning Board's decision on a number of developments. Hanfield sat on the board of some of the more controversial developments like Star Island, Seven Stars Resort, and the new Tuscany Resorts. He said on most occasions he felt pressurized by ministers.
I feel no longer able to serve in the capacity of chairman of the Physical Planning Board under conditions where ministers are pressuring members to hold meetings in contravention of the very legislation under which the board and the minister's decision must be taken.